Well, it was once used as Luke Skywalker's home in Return of the Jedi. The Desert Southwest has a hefty amount of film credits. Nomadland is one of the recent stories shot in Yuma and in Quartzsite, and it's the story of so-called nomads and why some of them embark into the open road after promised economic illusions die out. Take a look.
The loss of your whole town and friends and village, and that kind of loss is never easy.
Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand and directed by Chloe Zhao, is now nominated for several Academy Awards. A tale of the raw beauty of a forgotten part of our society. People who fell victim to the economic recession of 2008 and left with nothing but to head into the land of the nomads.
Because Chloe, as the director, the writer, director, editor, she could have shaped the story very, very differently. But I think that both she and Chloe and Frances both had this commitment to the integrity of the story. And so they just were very careful to make it very authentic.
They just told me that it was going to be about a lady who was going to be traveling along from city to city. You know, she's kind of like, not like lost, but she's just kind of finding herself. I think they might have hinted that there was like a celebrity, but they didn't tell me who. And then when we finally signed like a contract and stuff, and she was coming down, they're like, yeah, it's gonna be Frances. And I was like, oh snap. Like Frances, she came over here and sat down drinking her cup of coffee, and one of the scenes that we had, and then they went outside and did like a little smoking scene. She was just out there smoking and then kind of looking side to side. You know, original boots, original tables from like the 40s. Got the old pictures of Yuma coming around, and just the vibe is friendly too.
The Desert Southwest is one of the many places where nomads, van dwellers, or boondockers as they're known, begin their journey.
In 1979, I got my first van. I'm from Minnesota. I'm choosing sunburn over frostbite. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Every nomad's origin story is different, but they all agree that the experience on the road is why they continue to live out of their vans every single day.
We are an independent people who love our independence and our freedom.
You know, I would have a schedule you'd stick to, and now, well, I might be there in 2 days or 2 weeks.
And yet we need each other, and so we gather together at least once a year.
I don't let any moss grow under my tires. I like to move around.
To learn, to meet people, and it's been working really, really well.
It depends upon who I see along the road, what I see along the road, what looks interesting, what I stop for, and where. So, yeah, I'm probably aggravating to some people because you can't nail me down as to when and where, but that's life.
The numbers will grow enormously. People who are disenchanted, disillusioned with society will grow. We saw that after 2008 and 9.
And history might be repeating itself in 2021. For some, it might be a tragedy, and for others, a farce.
And an understanding that the American dream is probably an American nightmare.
Some people live this life because they can't afford rent and lights and heat and all that.
And so I believe there will be a tidal wave of more people who are just simply forced to, they have no choice. The only way to survive is eliminate their house payment, their rent payment, and so they're going to be living in vehicles, whether they want to or not. The amazing thing is that nearly everyone that I know who was forced into living in a vehicle then fell in love with it.
A few of my friends are millionaires, and they prefer this to living in a city.
It hasn't really hit home. The government's pumped so much money into the economy, they're keeping it afloat.
And it's too soon to know how many people will leave it all and hit the road, but the economic recession of 2008 is still showing its ripple effects.
If you go to YouTube and you type in hashtag van life, you're going to see hundreds, maybe thousands of young couples in vans, really nice vans. And I think those people were all disillusioned by the economic collapse.
The Pew Research Center has found that in 2020, 1 in 10 young adults have moved due to COVID-19. In November of 2020, 33% moved because of financial reasons. For many van lifers, the average cost to convert a van is $5,000. It's a hot trend among younger Americans as only 4% report being retired. And since 2017, Instagram has seen a 312% jump, or over 7 million posts that are tagged #vanlife.
Just go camping. That's all. You're in the car. You're going to sleep in the van. You're not going to sleep on the ground in a tent. You're safe. Go travel. Go let nature speak to you. See if it says something to you.
You know, a lot of people call it van dwelling, and for me, it's just plain old camping. The bonding experience of that, and just hanging out with friends. That's the fun of it, you know.
Reporting in the desert Southwest, I'm Christian Galeno.